Fellow FPL managers, we are back for Game Week 6 looking at transfer tips, looking at the fixture runs, looking at players I think you should sell and buy. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. First up guys, we have the fixture difficulty rating, and it's not changed too much from last game week, but there's a few teams that have gone up quite a bit, specifically Man City and Everton. They're really high on the fixture runs now. They were on the lower end for Game Week 5 because they had hard entry points, but now they both have a really good fixture run. Man City next game week playing home to Burnley, a fantastic entry point. And Everton, while they do play away to Man City, the fixtures around it are really strong, and they're a team you do not want to ignore. As for Wolves and Leeds, they're holding the top 2 spots again. Last game week in the transfer tips video, I recommended you guys get Stark in, and he did amazing. He got 15 points, so props to me on that one. But I also kind of failed last game week because I thought Ryan Diaz was a sell due to Champions League rotation and the tough fixture runs, but Man City's fixture run has been flipped on its head. Now they've played that tough Arsenal game, and Ryan Diaz did get a goal involvement. He wasn't even rotated despite playing 80 minutes in Champions League. So it's, you know, I got that one wrong, but I also got Stark right. So we'll say it's even in that regard. The fixture runs for Brentford, Liverpool and Fulham are absolutely diabolical. They are awful. They are teams that you want to avoid. I don't care how much you like Salah or Isak. Those players should not really be targeted, especially with the rotation risks in attack. Aston Villa have had a top tier fixture run for every game week so far this season, except this one. They have fallen down to the mid tier. It may be a little late for you guys to buy on the Aston Villa assets, but then again, there never really was a time because they've been awful non-stop despite how amazing their fixtures are. As a Watkins owner right now, I'm still going to hold, but it's not a bad idea to sell, okay? You can jump ship on Aston Villa right now. They are just playing so awful, and they don't look like they're going to score or keep another clean sheet anytime soon. They've scored 1 goal this season, which was last game week, and that was a long shot from Matty Cash. Very fortunate. They should still be on 0 goals this season. There are a couple teams in the mid-tier fixture runs which do become very good very soon. The best 2 examples I can look at are West Ham and Arsenal. Their entry points right now aren't great, but in a game week or 2, they both become top tier fixture runs, so definitely something to look out for. Even with the Arsenal game playing away to Newcastle, it's not insanely difficult because Newcastle are very low on expected goals, while Arsenal have very high expected clean sheets, which could mean a pretty high chance for Arsenal keeping a clean sheet in that game week despite the red fixture. We'll talk a bit more about that later. As for West Ham, come game week 8, their fixtures look amazing. It's just right now the entry point is not too good, so they're definitely a team just to keep an eye on and monitor. Now, we are going to be looking at Haaland in particular, guys. Haaland plays home to Burnley in game week 6. You need to own Erling Haaland. It's a non-negotiable. We're back at that stage. It's happened again where Haaland is the best player in FPL and no one comes close. He's triple captain potential next game week. If you need to play your wildcard to get him in, if you need to take a hit, you have to do it, because if you don't own him and you don't captain him, you are going to fall behind. I don't care if you think Burnley are going to play a low block and keep Haaland out. That's false hope, okay? Don't lie to yourself. You need to get this guy on your team, and I'm sorry if you don't. You just need him. The underlying data is ridiculous. You don't see this on anyone else but previous Erling Haaland, okay? He is the only guy that can do this. He's an insane finisher. He's still underperforming his expected goals despite doing so well. He is on 46 points in these opening 5 game weeks. His lowest score in the opening 6 game weeks is 50. The other 2 seasons he's been in the Premier League, he's broken the 60-point tally in 6 game weeks twice. Now he's playing home to Burnley. I expect him to do it for the 3rd season out of 4 seasons in the Premier League. I think he's going to get at least 14 points, you know, probably 2 goals, maybe 3. The fixture run for Man City is really good. We talked about it earlier. The entry point playing home to Burnley is amazing. Looking at expected goals conceded in the Premier League, Burnley are last by quite some bit. It's the best attacker in the league by a long shot, playing against the worst defence in the league by a long shot. It's an absolute no-brainer, guys. For you FPL managers not on wildcard, needing to transfer in Haaland by selling Salah, here is what I think you should do. Just so you guys know, by the way, those bottom 2 transfers where I recommend selling Ekatike and Watkins for Haaland, they're not the only players you can sell. Some of you may own your Pedro, Wood or Mateta, for example. Even though your Pedro is really good, if you have to sell him to get Haaland, you should do so. I do think you should be bringing in Man United attackers for Mohamed Salah, which may sound weird, but Man United are first for expected goals in the Premier League, and Mbeumo plus Bruno are hogging the expected goal involvements for Man United. They haven't scored a ton yet on Mbeumo and Bruno, but they are arguably some of the best finishers in the league. Bruno at Man United, that's no debate. Mbeumo at Brentford, that's no debate. This season, neither of them have really had their shooting boots on, but we know how good they can be, and it's only a matter of time before they start putting away chance after chance. Their fixture run is mediocre, but when the underlying data is that good, you simply cannot ignore it. Get at least one of these guys in your team. A double up on the Man United attack if you already own one of these guys is not a bad idea whatsoever, considering Man United are first for expected goals out of every team in the league, above Man City, above Liverpool, above everyone. Like I said, we're selling forwards for Haaland. If you don't have Ekitike or Watkins, you have cheaper players like Wood or Mateta or Pedro. You could downgrade Salah to someone like Reinders or Kudus. Then you'd be able to afford Haaland from one of those cheaper forwards. But if you can, you'd ideally be looking to sell Ekitike or Watkins and get a better attacker in for Salah like Bruno or Mbeumo. But if you can't afford that, don't worry about it. Now, I am talking about the starting striker for the worst team in the Premier League right now, which may come across as a surprise. Wolves players you would all assume are pretty much must avoids, but as you saw in the fixture difficulty rating, Wolves have the best fixture run out of any team in the Premier League. Part of why they've been so poor is their terrible defence and their lack of striker in the starting lineup, but Strand Larsen is back. He played one half last game week, so he's probably going to be starting in game week 6, and this fixture run is the perfect time to take advantage of him. In fact, with how poor Wolves are, it's probably the only time to take advantage of him. It's a weird one because your main focus this season is Erling Haaland, so bringing in Larsen as well isn't really going to be first on your priorities list. But if you already have Haaland or you're on wildcard, I think Strand Larsen is debatably a must own. Okay, must own might be a little excessive, but I would say if you're in a position to get this guy on your team and you don't do it, you're missing out on a great opportunity to get some really good differential points. But it goes without saying that it is a risk. You know, Wolves aren't on the best form and Strand Larsen has not played a lot of minutes this season, but I still think with that fixture run, he is going to bag some goals. On to just some general recommended transfers now. Looking at defender transfers, I think it's Van Dijk's time to go. A lot of you own Van Dijk and he's just not that good. He gets defcons, but the fixture runs, it's just awful. Where, like I talked about earlier, Arsenal have a really good fixture run. Even though they play a tough game week in game week 6 away to Newcastle, the clean sheet odds are going to be very high because Newcastle are a very defensive team this season, and so are Arsenal. So, you know, you put 2 and 2 together, away to Newcastle is a pretty decent chance of a clean sheet for Arsenal, so I think it's a good entry point to bring in one of their defenders, and Gabriel is obviously the best one. Then you look at Pedro Porro. Now, their fixture run is still really good. They have the 3rd best fixture run in the league, in my opinion. You are sort of running out of time to bring in a Spurs player because while they don't have any tough fixtures coming up yet, they do have a lot of mediocre fixtures that aren't so great. But right now, in the next 6 games, they don't have a single red fixture. It's just greens and greys. And Pedro Porro with really good goal threat, really good creative potential, obviously getting clean sheets when Spurs don't concede. I think he's a really good player to go for. I think he's better than Van de Ven and Romero despite having less goal involvements than them because he will end the season on more goal involvements. He's played 5 game weeks and not got a return yet, but in the past 3 seasons, if you looked at Pedro Porro, he averages a goal involvement every 3.5 starts. So the goal involvements for Pedro Porro are going to be coming in very soon. So in my opinion, going for Porro and Gabriel are great defender options. Obviously, Senesi from Bournemouth, we talked about him last video. He is still a really good cheap defender to go for if you're looking for a cheap defender. As for forwards, obviously we just talked about Strand Larsen. Ekitike and Mateta are definitely both sells for Strand Larsen, especially Ekitike. With Chris Wood, maybe wait 1 more week after he's played home to Sunderland. With Pedro, it's probably best to keep Pedro. With Ollie Watkins, it depends how you feel about Watkins' upcoming fixtures and whether you think he's actually going to be able to score. So there's lots of forwards you could sell for Strand Larsen. As a Watkins owner, I'm debating bringing in Strand Larsen or waiting for Watkins to play home to Burnley in game week 7. My point is, if you're not getting Haaland this game week, Strand Larsen is the best forward to buy, and there's a few forwards you probably should be selling. As for Wirtz, some of you still own Wirtz, but the Liverpool fixture run is over now, and Wirtz didn't even start last game week. And like I talked about earlier, I think Mbeumo is the best midfielder to bring in. You can bring in multiple midfielders though. You can bring in Kudus, you can bring in Reinders. We're going to talk about it more in the plays to buy video coming up next game week, but considering Wirtz's price, if you can afford Mbeumo, you should go for it because like I said, he is really high on the expected goal involvements. The fixture run isn't too bad. Man United are really good going forward, and it's only a matter of time before Mbeumo starts converting his chances. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Let me know what you think of the transfer tips. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. Who did I miss out that we should have looked at in particular? Thank you very much for watching. If you did make it this far, you are greatly appreciated, and I will see you all in the next video.